All right. So today basically is a Monday. So we're going to work on grammar. So we're going to expand our knowledge of transitional terms such as additive, causal, adversative, and sequential transitional words and phrases, and strengthen our understanding of transitional terms through independent practice, because you guys tend to use the same transitions all the time. So you are going to have an assignment, but first we're going to go over transition terms beyond the fanboys, and then we're going to be putting it into practice. That is due on Friday by 11:59 as always. Okay. But before we do that, I do want to give you the answers to the comma review, because Lord, whew, that was rough. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Once upon a time, comma, long ago, comma, there was a handsome prince who was searching for a beautiful, tall, blonde European princess. This right here is because it's extra. You should be able to take it out and it still makes sense. Once upon a time, there was a handsome prince. Makes sense, right? That means it needs to be surrounded by commas. This is a list of attributes. So you put a comma after each one, except for the very last one. And is optional here, okay? Any questions to that one?
No.
And also, when it comes to the grammar assignments, once it closes on Friday, no more. That's the only thing you can't make up is grammar stuff. When I'm done, I will go to the store and buy milk, eggs, and apples. We can test to see if this is right, because we should be able to flip it. I will go to the store to buy milk, eggs, and apples when I get done. Make sense? Again, here's a list, and you put it before and. Okay? Now this one, just a hint, if I ever provide something this long and you have to retype it if it's false, more than likely I'm not going to make you retype it. So, dear John, comma, this letter is a response to your request. Upon reviewing your request, we have determined that we will be able to fulfill your order. This you can check by flipping it. We have determined that we will be able to fulfill your order upon reviewing your request. Make sense? We will ship your order by Thursday, comma, March 12th. We are glad to work with you and your company, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can take this part out and it still makes sense. We are glad to work with you and your company, and please feel free to reach out. Have a wonderful day, comma, Mr. Thompson. Make sense? Yes, no? Okay. All right, number 4. I was supposed to finish the essay this evening, but always comes with a comma. I was too tired, semicolon, so transitional term, comma, I went to bed. My English teacher, Miss Garcia, is one of my favorite teachers. We put Miss Garcia in commas because it's additional information. My English teacher is one of my favorite teachers. So yes, okay. When I was little, my address was 1914 Sherman Street, comma, apartment 12, comma, Corpus Christi, comma, Texas, and you don't put a comma between the state and the zip code. This one you can still flip it. My address was 1914 Sherman, apartment 12, Corpus Christi, Texas, 78416 when I was little. Okay. The milk expired on March 2nd, 2020. There's a comma here because that's the standard form for a date, and we always put the comma after the date. Yet it was still in the refrigerator. Okay. The letter was postmarked the 22nd November 2021. Now, a lot of you said flip it, like you flipped it, or you put the comma here. When the date is in this format, there's no commas. Okay. This is like the APH form of dates. Okay. My sister Lizzie went to the University of Houston and graduated in 2016. We're going to put my sister's name in quotations because it's additional information. You can take it out, still makes sense. My sister went to the University of Houston and graduated in 2016. We do not put a comma here because it's just 2 items. Okay? You don't put a comma if it's only 2. And then the final one, I love watching the big blue curling waves crash upon the shore. So again, this is a list of attributes. Big, blue, and curly, and we don't put anything right there. Make sense? Any questions about that? So that's how we're going to handle it every week, is I'll give you the answers on the Monday after. That's why you're not allowed to do it anymore after that. Now, Transition terms, beyond the fanboys. So last week we learned about commas, which I'm pretty sure was probably the funnest time ever because everybody loves commas. This week though, we're gonna work on transitional terms because we're working towards learning how to use semicolons, which you're gonna learn next week. So you can complain about it later. Same as always, make sure you put your name, your last name and first name, and then join so that I can give you credit. Free 100s, right? Okay, so we're going to use transitions to create connections. So what are transition terms? Transition terms are words or phrases that create meaningful and useful links or connections between your ideas. Because a lot of times when you guys write, because you lack the transitions, it literally is very like, I did this, I did this, I did this, and it's very short and there's no connection, right? And sometimes you guys will automatically shift ideas and there's nothing to help me connect that. So we're going to learn some terms to help you do that. So why use them? They connect or link ideas together. They establish a progression between one idea to the next. They build coherent relationships between ideas. What does coherent mean?
Like this. I can't hear the word. Like they flow together.
They flow together and make sense, right? So when it's coherent, people aren't going, what in the world am I reading, right? And they improve their organization of your writing, which some of you do struggle with. Okay, you already know some transition terms, especially the fanboys, which is hilarious because I recently learned about this term fanboys because that's not how I was taught. But you guys have been taught fanboys, which are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so.
I was taught this.
And, but, and so are y'all's favorite transition terms. I see this one so much, and I'm like, oh my God, if I see so one more time, right?
What about like?
Like is not. Yeah. So we're gonna move beyond these because of the fact that you guys have been learning them for so long. But again, you know, they are still useful. Just try not to use them as much. So there are several types of transitions. Yes.
Ms. Garcia?
Yes. They haven't paid for it yet. No, remember that's the one we're waiting for. Okay. All right. So these are the types of transitions. We have additive, right? Here's the plus sign. Causal, one thing leads to the other. Adversative, which is the opposite, and sequential. This, then this, then this. Okay. We're gonna look at that a little bit more closely. All right, additive. We use this when we're doing addition, agreement, or similarity. So we have additionally, again, also, as a matter of fact, as well as, by the same token, comparatively, correspondingly, coupled with, equally important, furthermore, which is one of my favorites, furthermore, identically, in addition, in like manner, in the first place, in the same fashion, in the same way, likewise, moreover, not only, but also. This one, if you ever use not only, you have to include but also. Not only did I live in Austin, but I also went to UT. Right? So you always have to have that but also. Not to mention, of course, similarly, then, to say nothing else, together with, and then TOO too. Okay? Any questions on those? Okay. A lot of this is going to be kind of like refresher. So here's kind of how it would look. Moreover, she will do all the cooking and cleaning while she stays with her sister. So that means there was something else that she was doing and more on top of that. This is what she'll do. Thomas really loves his wife. Furthermore, and notice there's a semicolon and a comma, he is grateful that she supports all his dreams. Crystal worked at HEB during the day, in addition to working at the movie theater at night. In addition is normally followed by to. Not always, but most of the time. Lizzie not only has a bachelor's degree in psychology, comma, but, because but always comes with a comma, She also has a master's in social work. Okay. The manager was able to get a significant pay increase to our salary, coupled with, that means together with, a reduction in mandatory work hours. So do you see how transitions are working? And because what normally happens is without these, a lot of times you put a period instead and it'd be very like choppy. And this helps your words flow a little bit more. Is it just me or is it hot in here?
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Causal. Causal means see this first causes this, leads to. This is an effect of this. So cause, condition, and purpose. We have then, as long as, because of, being that, due to, even if, for fear that, for the purpose of, given that, granted that, if, in as much as, in case of, in order to, in the event that, in the hope that, in view of, lest. Very few people use lest anymore. On the condition that, only if, owing to, provided that, seeing that, since, so as to, so long as, so that. So you see how we have this initial fanboy, but we add some to it. To the end that, unless, when, whenever, while, I don't know why I put it twice. With this in mind and with this intention. So again, remember, it has to do with cause and effect. So this is what it'll look like. Due to the long hours at work, Megan did not have lots of time to spend with her friends. Okay, so normally when you have due to, that's going to be an introductory phrase. So it's going to be followed by a comma, and you can check your comma placement by flipping it. Megan did not have a lot of time to spend with her friends due to the long hours at work. So now I know my comma is in the right place. Eli was allowed to go to the party on the condition that he finished all his chores before his mother got home. So on the condition, that means that you have to do something in order to get to the next step. Okay. So for fear that he would oversleep and miss his interview, Jose set 3 different alarms. How can I check if this is my comma's in the right spot?
You reverse it.
You flip it. Jose set 3 different alarms for fear that he would oversleep and miss his interview. You see how easily that is, that you can check that? Mm-hmm. Okay, the teacher made her students repeat the process over and over again in hopes that they would be able to recall for the test. So in hopes that. So I'm doing this, hopefully that it'll lead to this. Seeing that she was afraid of the dark, Alejandra avoided going out at night. Again, seeing that. So this is the result of this. Alejandra avoided going out at night, seeing that she was afraid of the dark. Make sense, causal ones? Yeah, okay. And just note, because now you're learning these, I want to see these instead of so and but and. I know. Oh, okay. So adversative, which is the opposite, there's a limitation or a contradiction. So that's why there's 2 errors of going in different ways. Think of it as fancier terms for but. Okay. And still, and yet, above all, albeit, although this may be true, as much as, at the same time, be that as it may, besides, conversely, despite, different from, even so, though, even though, however, which is Ms. Garcia's favorite, however, in contrast, in reality, in spite of, instead, nevertheless, I also like that word, nonetheless, notwithstanding, of course, but, so this goes together, on the contrary, on the other hand, otherwise, rather, regardless, then again, unlike, whereas, and again, while. So notice that while can be used in a lot of different ways. We're going through this quickly so that you guys can hopefully get the assignment done. Okay, adversative transitions in use. So as much as I would love to go to the concert, I have to work tomorrow, right? And then I can flip that, I have to work tomorrow as much as I'd love to go to the concert. The villain thought he was very clever. Semicolon, which you're going to learn how to use next week. On the contrary, he was quite foolish. So he seems this way, but he's actually this way. People think Miss Garcia is a morning person because she always seems so ready to start the day, semicolon. However, Miss Garcia's favorite transition, she is actually a night owl and hates mornings. Very true. Okay. Everyone in Trina's family was good at math and science, whereas she was good at art. So The opposite of them, whereas. Unlike his classmates, Gabriel loved reading and writing. Again, we can check this comma placement. Gabriel loved reading and writing, unlike his classmates. Okay, and this one would be unlike. I just forgot to put it in red. Any questions on that one? Rolling on through. I should be seeing lovely transitions in your writing. Sequential means to go in order. So enumeration, continuation, conclusion. This is like your first, second, third type situation. After all, afterwards, all in all things considered, all together, as can be seen, as has been noted, as shown above, before, by and large, definitely, eventually, of course, your first, second, third, for the most part, eventually, and again, first, second, and third again, because that's often used, I guess. For the most part, generally speaking, giving these points in a word, in any event, in brief, in conclusion. This one, avoid it when you're writing, please. I don't know how many of you try to end your final paragraph and you say, in conclusion. It's overused, don't use it. In either case, in essence, in fact, in short, in summary, in the final analysis, in the long run, next, obviously, on the whole, ordinarily, overall, previously, subsequently, then, to sum up, to summarize, ultimately, and usually. So what words do you think you could use instead of in conclusion?
To summarize.
To summarize, to sum up, ultimately.
In fact.
In fact,
In short.
yeah, in final analysis, right? So you can definitely do those instead of in conclusion. So no more in conclusions. Okay, promise? Okay,
Well,
yeah, hopefully.
I'll use in essence.
Yeah, there you go, in essence. Yeah, in essence, sounds fancy. All right, so here's sequential transitions in use. On the whole, the presentation did not go as bad as the group thought it would. Is my comment in the right spot?
The presentation did not go as the group thought it would on the whole. No, it's not.
It is actually.
It is.
That
Doesn't
actually does
sound
make
right.
sense. Okay,
Doesn't
so yeah.
sound right.
The teacher laid out the lesson and examples first. Then she had her students practice by creating their own examples. So that's when you can use first, and see, I didn't say secondly, I said then, right? Alex is upset because of his break, but he will get over his ex in the long run. Oh, I have to look at my notes. Can I call you right back? Okay. All right, let's finish this up, guys, and you can start working on your stuff. Okay. So we already did this, yeah. Okay. As has been noted before, students must wear their masks at all times. Okay, again, this is just letting you know it's a sequential. This has been said in the first place, and then this is what needs to happen. Before you take the test on Saturday, you should study as much as possible this week. Okay? So again, we can flip this. You should study as much as possible this week before you take the test on Saturday. Making sense? You see how commas are also being used in that? All right, awesome. All right, so transitional terms again, remember, link ideas together and help you progress in a coherent manner that makes sense. There's no jumping around, it flows. And there's more than just your fanboys. We have the 4 that are additive, causal, adversative, and sequential. And now I want you to go forth and practice them as always. And so you guys are gonna go ahead and complete the assignment. It's only like, I think at most 20 questions. I can't remember. I know, so much. But it is due by Friday, the 29th at 11:59. You have 2 attempts, but so this is how I want it to work. I want you to have your first attempt done by Wednesday so I can grade it and get it back to you so that you know what you missed. Okay, so that way you can fix it and get higher grades. So as always, go forth, and it's going to be the transition terms put into practice. Let me just see how many questions, I can't remember. Oh, it's only 10. You'll live.
Is it open?
Yes, it is open.
For me.
It isn't for me.
Really? What is happening? Let's fix it.
See?
Gee.
I know. I need to get my life together. Ugh.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think it's a little bit more in depth.
There's online stuff, so it's
There's so much stuff.
It's one assignment.
How can I assign work in an English class? I just don't know. I'm so just, okay. All right, it should be open. Let me know if you guys can open it.
It's open. Yeah.
All right, cool. If you have any questions, let me know.